I always think of, the armor of God and Ephesians and all of that. But when the Lord gave me prepare for battle, He said, "What's your battle posture? What's your stance?"
Oh, my stance, that's good.
So, what's your stance? Let's start with definitions. Prepare means to make someone or something ready for activity, purpose, use. To make ready beforehand for some purpose, put in a proper state of mind, to work in the details, to plan in advance. Posture is the position or bearing of the body, whether it is characteristic or assumed for a special purpose, poise, a conscious behavioral attitude toward basically your stance or your station. Battle is a military fight between groups of soldiers, airplanes, a violent fight which people use weapons in extended contests to struggle or controversy or to contend with full strength, vigor, skill, and resource to engage in fighting, to try to stop or defeat an adversary.
Yes.
To be offensive is being in a large military attack, the act of attacking a party, a raid or rush, to show aggression. In sports, this is to attempt to score against an opponent. For spiritual, it's tearing down the strongholds formed in your mind or circumstances around you, deceptions or accusations. To be defensive is the state or condition of being prepared, capability, or resisting attack. In sports, to stop an opponent from scoring. This is guarding yourself against the tactics, the schemes of the enemy.
Right.
In Ephesians 6:12, the Amplified Version says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, contending only with physical opponents, but against the rulers and against the power and against the forces of this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in heavenly supernatural places." 2 Corinthians 10:4, Amplified, says, "The weapons of our warfare are not physical, weapons of flesh and blood. Our weapons are divinely powerful for the destruction of forces." In preparation for most any battle and to be effective in fighting the enemy, basic training is needed. We first need to know and work in our abilities and have strategies for warfare. In addition, we must know our opponent. 3 characteristics of the enemy are a deceiver, tempter, and an accuser. The most common weapons he uses are from our own selves: the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and the lust of the flesh. Words associated with battle postures are conceived, persuaded, out of Romans 8:38 and 39. Reliable and dependable, that's Isaiah 6:8. Humble and obedient, which is found in Psalms 25:9, and obedient, Titus 3:1.
Give them scriptures.
Now, I didn't know where he wanted me to go in this, but this is what he gave me.
All right.
When we are unable to fight against an enemy, it is because our battle stance or our posture is incorrect. We don't have an understanding of what's required, or rather, we do not listen to the instructions that are given.
There you go.
We doubt who we are, and we don't take a proper stance or posture because of this, we don't know when or how to present an offensive versus a defensive stance. In my research, the Lord gave me this to use as a parallel. So what I was going to originally look for is jujitsu. I can't really pronounce it. So instead, when I went to go and research it, he just said judo. So I started looking up judo. So in judo, it is an unarmed combat derived from jujitsu and intended to train the body and the mind, which involves using holds and leverage to unbalance the opponent.
Right.
Judo is described with 7 points. They include physical training, the natural posture, courtesy, and initiative, breaking balance, stability, and the principle of gentleness. Number 1 is training. It has 3 points. It's Toughness giving you steadiness and a staying power. It has flexibility